Let's get more now on the package of support the Chancellor unveiled today. Joining me now is Clare McNeil, Associate Director at the IPPR, a left-of-centre economic think tank. A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us today, Clare. Firstly, what did you make of the Chancellor's announcement today? Was it a timely intervention?
So there's a lot to welcome from the government's announcement today. The job support scheme is now much more generous, and the Chancellor has done that by reducing the amount of contribution that an employee needs to make for its employee's salary. He's also reduced the contribution that employees need to make in terms of the amount of time that they're working, from around a third of their working hours to just 20%. So overall, the level of subsidy from the scheme is much more generous. The concern is, though, that this comes too late for many people.
Yeah, I guess the real test to all of this is whether businesses were able to get through the next few months. What do your studies tell you about who has been hit the hardest so far?
Well, one of the groups that we're particularly concerned about is those businesses who are operating outside of Tier 3 areas, but who have been forced to close. So live music venues and theatres, they won't receive the increased level of support from the Chancellor's announcement today. So they're still under a considerable amount of pressure. Also for the self-employed, the Chancellor has increased the level of support on offer to them, but he's also toughened up the requirements that are needed. So many groups are still being left out of the government support today.
We're constantly being told that things are moving fast, but do you think these measures should have been implemented much sooner? If you listen to what the Mayor of Greater Manchester, for example, the Mayor of Sheffield, and other areas have been talking about over the last few days and stuff, they're saying that the financial support package should have been provided. They weren't offered that.
Yes, so for many people who are sitting at home today, they may already have lost their job or be about to lose their job purely because the employer didn't realise that this enhanced level of support was available. So it's certainly come too late for those people. And many of them, of course, will be moving on to universal credit. And universal credit is a much less generous support, clearly. So for families, for example, where there's one earner in work, they stand to lose around 50% of their income when they move on to universal credit. So we would also have liked to have seen the Chancellor commit to maintaining the increase, the £20 increase to universal credit that was introduced at the beginning of the crisis, and also other measures, so making statutory sick pay more generous, for example. Many of these measures, we still don't know what the government plans to do.
We haven't got a crystal ball. We don't know how long this pandemic is going to last for, but I've seen figures that suggest that 12 million people are said to be in what's called low financial resilience. So they struggle to pay their bills or are unable to repay any debts that they may have. Do you foresee government intervention for the foreseeable future?
Well, clearly, one of the great difficulties here is the uncertainty with this crisis. We simply do not know how long these measures may need to be in place. But clearly, there are concerns about increased risks of people going into debt and destitution, and particularly people who are living in the private rented sector. And the evictions ban that was in place for that group is no longer in place. So there are real concerns about that. Also, we need to see investment in the economy to stimulate job creation. So we have some of the lowest levels of job vacancies at the moment that we've seen for many years. So we would have liked to have seen the Chancellor invest in creating jobs, stimulating the economy, as many other countries have done. And the UK is becoming a bit of an international outlier in that respect.
And just finally, Clare, do you think these measures introduced today will stop the spike of unemployment that we saw back in the 1980s? Because that is the objective on the part of the government right now.
We do think that the change to the job support scheme that the Chancellor has made today will significantly reduce the risks of high unemployment, but it certainly won't go all the way to doing that for the reasons that I've explained. And also there are many people that have been out of work and on furlough since March, and the big risk is that we see sort of persistently high levels of long-term unemployment as we carry on through this crisis.
Clare McNeil, many thanks indeed for your time. Thank you.